December 18th, 2025. We're looking at the last 3 minutes of the market. I entered my trade right here on this big selling candle. We had a power volume bar, obviously, because it's the last 10 minutes. But we had a red selling volume confirmation. But look at all of this lead up to this confirmation. Okay, that's what gave me the conviction to enter the trade. So I entered the trade here at the close of the candle. The stop loss would be somewhere above that candle. And then your take profit would be either a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1. I'm using a Fibonacci ratio to determine my take profit because it's based on, it's all relative, right? So if my stop loss is right here, take profit is going to be much quicker. It's all proportional, right? So it's kind of a beautiful way of measuring. So this was the first take profit region right here. Stop loss is up here. That means your take profit is this first line past the entry point. So this was a win. This was a good trade. And it's still going. We only got about 60 seconds left. And we're going to go over and see how many times this strategy came into effect today. We have a market open with a lot of selling pressure building up. This is what happens when you pay attention every day through repetition. You start to just know what's going on, right? So this has been the past 2 weeks. Look at this momentum. This is the daily MACD for the NQ, triple Qs. Look at how much selling pressure has been building, okay? This is leading into today. So before today, all we have is this data right here. We don't see this blue line data. We only see this data. So that's just our pre-market prep. Let's get started. We got a market open, and the first thing, our first responsibility is to check the 5-minute MACD energy. So we look at our 5-minute regular hours, and it is right at market open. We have a green, we have some downward bias with a nice green continuation, and then we look at the 5-minute extended hours, and look, we get something quite different. Downward pressure, and followed by this next 5-minute candle starts red. But look at this 5-minute. If they're both displaying 5-minute MACD data, how can they be opposite like this? This is what you should be asking yourself. And the answer is the data that goes into them is different, so it takes a while for them to be in harmony because of the data that's being put into this 5-minute time frame with the MACD. So we wait for them to harmonize. When does that happen? Can you see it happen? Can you see it? Look, I'm toggling. It happens right here. This is going up. So we go forward. This is still going down. Okay, now this is about to start going up. Look. Now this is ticking up for the first time. It's ticking up. What about this one? This one is up. So now they're aligned. That's what you call harmony. That's alignment. That gives opportunity for trades. That's why I marked this candle right here. Look what happened on this candle. We were on the right side of the 2-minute V. We had a volume bar that was greater than the previous 3. That's an entry signal. You would enter here at the close of the candle. Your stop loss would be below that candle. You would target a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1. That's why I marked that. That wasn't the official strategy because this one is still ugly, not as clean as we would like. So this is kind of like a discretionary trade. But regardless, we are waiting to see how many times the real strategy comes into effect. That's what we want to know. So far, these don't reach real harmony because, like I said, this one was ugly. That wasn't a full, proper trade yet. They don't reach harmony until about right here. Look, now this green is increasing. Green increasing. Look at this. Crossing over to green, increasing. Now that is what you call real alignment. You see this blue arrow right here? What do you see that happens right here? We get a volume bar greater than the previous 3. Our 5-minute energies are aligned to the upside. You enter at the close of this candle, put your stop loss slightly below that candle, target a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1, and you would have got the win. That's a win for our strategy so far. And look what happens right here on yellow. This is a trade I took today. 5-minute has crossed over to the downside. We're getting confirmation right now it's crossing over. 5-minute regular hours, already well into the red. We're on the right side of the 2-minute V right here. We get a volume bar greater than the previous 3. You enter at the close of this candle, stop loss slightly below or above. Put your target for profit taking at 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1 ratio. That was a win. Now I missed this amazing trade. These levels, these critical levels here, are just prior swing lows. That's all these, this level here represents something that happened at the beginning of the market. This was the high right here. That's what this line is. And then this line right here is just a swing low, recent swing lows. But I'm not trading at the middle of the market right now, so I missed this opportunity. But I want you to look at how freaking obvious this is. Look at the 5-minute data. Boom. We're popping down. We've got great volume conflict. I mean, look at this. Now look at the 2-minute. Coming down. Beautiful. Look at how beautiful and symmetrical and smooth. And then look at this. Volume greater than the previous 3. You would enter here. Look how big this win would have been. Massive, massive win. Again, your entry would be here at the close of the candle. You would put your stop loss slightly above. You would target a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1. And then you would allow for some runners to always exist so you can have some ability to capture more and more and more. Beautiful trade right there that I didn't take because I was not at the table. I'm not trading the middle of the market right now. It's not what I'm doing. Right here, the 5-minute, we have a crossover to the upside about to happen. Look. And it happens right here. So we look to see, do we have any clues on the 2-minute? Yeah, right here. Look, we're building. We're now building in the right direction, upward. And we get a volume bar greater than the previous 3. So notice this candle is small. These are small candles. This is the middle of the day. This is lower volume. So you can put your stop loss below this entry candle, or you can use the previous candle. Because this one is so small, this is where discretion and experience come in. If you look at these candles, these are nice size candles relative to the day, relative to the ticker. But these candles here are noticeably smaller. If that happens, you can actually use the previous bars to set your stop loss. You don't have to just rely on this one. This giving permission to take a trade to the upside, this confirming it, this upward move here was a great win. Another great trade, another great win. Let's go forward. We now cross over to the downside. Look at the 5-minute. Crossing over to the downside. Look at the 2-minute. Building. No power volume confluence yet because this hasn't really concluded yet. So yes, we could have taken these trades here. We could have entered here, but that would have been considered early, right? We're talking about safer entries. But yes, that would have been an awesome win and an awesome trade. But look what happens right here. We get a nice solid candle on the right side of the momentum is building, on the right side of the alignment. This is already giving us permission. We've got a volume bar greater than the previous 3. Look at this trade. Wonderful win. We haven't had a single loss yet, I don't think. Not today. No, we haven't. Right here we have a discretionary trade that I would just marked. That's nothing. We're going to skip that because we're talking about just the strategy. Did we get any confirmations with the strategy? No. No more happened today. But nonetheless, what a great day in the market. Appreciate you clicking on the video. I will see you in the next one. Take care now.